All right, hello. This is Gage Dimebag LOL, whatever the fuck I'm going by nowadays. I guess it doesn't really matter. I kind of wanted to talk about the CLG issues because I find it very fascinating. I'm a CLG fan myself. At least I was until all this came out. Let me say it beforehand. I'm going to preference a couple things. I don't have a list here that's written down. I don't have anything that like points, so I might miss stuff. If I have to post 5 videos to get this thing out of my system, I will. But as of right now, no one gives a shit about my opinion. But I'm throwing it out there just in case other people feel the same way I do, and they don't like know how to necessarily like explain it. And I want to get as much information out of this as I can. So being a CLG fan is definitely one of the hardest things to deal with, in the sense of, North American League of Legends esports. The reason that I find it so difficult is because I feel like this organization has become just so wrapped up in its own bullshit that it just can't get out of it. I've always been a TSM hater, but you have to respect a team that can go through so much, who can come out of it. I mean, look at all the times with Reggie and all the smack that everyone talked and all the smack that I talked and all, but they got through it, and look what they're able to do. I mean, they're not perfect. I mean, there's times like, Bjergsen just a while back was saying, hey, I don't like that I'm put into this little box, and, we got to have mid, a little bit more support. And like, they have their issues, and I know him and Loco weren't getting along, but they got through that shit, and then look at their, what they've been able to do. I mean, yeah, MSI didn't go that well, but I mean, that's not really necessarily the point. The point is, when they play, you don't feel like it's disjointed. Every time I watch CLG play, it's like watching like fragments of a gun exploding, or fragments of a bullet exploding. Like, it's shot out of a cannon, and then it hits a wall, and it fucking breaks apart. That's CLG. CLG is a bullet. They come out, all these promises and all these expectations and the hype and the greatness that they can achieve. It's just, it just, fuck. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the text. They always come out with all these great things, and they don't ever give us what they promised. Which is fine, because, we understand that no team is perfect. You're not going to win every fucking game, but it doesn't make sense to me how this is happening all the time. And no matter what they come out and say, and I got to point the finger at Hotshot, because he's the one doing interviews. He's the one that puts himself in the front of this thing. As much as he's saying, well, I'm kind of just in the back doing, everyone, and I'm just trying to, get all our CLG teams in order. Like, that's fine, but you put yourself in the front running of this team. You're the one doing interviews. You're the one telling us and informing us what is happening with this team. Now, I'm going to explain one other thing before I get started. I actually wrote this in a Reddit thread, and for some whatever fucking reason, when I clicked to post it, it deleted everything. And then it was just a blank Reddit page. And then I was like, fuck. So I'm not going to rewrite that. I'm just going to talk about it. I had a disclaimer on the thread that I had created that is no longer up because it didn't get posted, that I want to throw out there right now. CLG, specifically Hotshot, and it kind of gets into the problem, but, if it does, whatever, I'm going to go back to it anyway. Hotshot did an interview with Travis, basically explaining this point. Our issues pretty much this season, or this split, goes back to how Scarra was was coaching. Kind of. Is what I got from the interview, right? Here's kind of my point and why I'm pissed off. And this is still the disclaimer. I understand that every team has issues. That's not the problem here. The problem is that we're told one thing, and then all this shit comes out. How is it that Scara was kind of the issue, sorta, and then Link has what he has to say, Doublelift says what he has to say? These problems with these two players, as far as just what they're saying about what the team is way more of a fucking problem than what Scara was doing. Whole like Hotshot, I should have stepped in and done something more with picks and bans. Oh, hold on, let me answer the question like Hotshot does. So, that way I'm more Hotshot like. I like Hotshot, by the way. I just wanted to fire some shots. See, I just did it. See, he's rubbing off on me. So, anyway, he came out and said that basically Scar was the issue. Obviously, that is not the only fucking issue, and this is the issue. This thing from Link and the other one from Doublelift is the issue. Okay, Scara didn't help. I'm sure, allegedly, with doing the right picks and bans, and he wasn't getting into the mind of each player. Whatever Hotshot said, that's fine. I'm not saying that was a lie. What I'm saying is that this was supposed to be the focus, and why wasn't this the focus? Here's the disclaimer. Then here's where I go with it. I'm upset that once again CLG can't get it the fuck enough together just to tell us the truth of what's going on. Albeit, if they didn't know this was happening, understandable. But I'm going to back up Hotshot for a second here. Because I know if he ever heard me say this, he would totally agree with everything I'm about to say right here. Bottom line is this. Hotshot and the CLG organization, when it comes to them, from them to us, the fans, don't have to tell us shit. We don't deserve an explanation. We don't deserve to have, Hotshot come out and tell us every fucking little issue with CLG. Because one, we don't want to hear it. Two, it's none of our fucking business as fans. We should just enjoy the team because, it's cool to enjoy the team. Not because, fucking they're willing to tell us everything. We don't deserve that. We're not on some high horse as fans that we all of a sudden get to fucking make our own rules and tell us everything because we deserve to know. No, we don't fucking deserve to know. And any CLG fan out there that thinks that they have a right to know everything that happens with this team, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Legit. Because I know I don't think that way. Because now we're going to get into the point. We're going to address the Link article. We'll address the Doublelift article. But I kind of want to get the general feeling of what I think everyone in the CLG community is feeling right now. So that's my disclaimer. Hotshot doesn't have to tell us shit as fans. Doublelift doesn't have to say anything. No one has to say anything. No one has to explain anything to us. It's not a fucking business. But here is the difference. The difference is when you have a major interview with Travis and you say it's Scara, kind of, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm not a fucking journalist, so I don't have to get the time right. But a couple weeks later, this happens. Here's how I feel. Stop fucking doing interviews. Stop it. Stop telling us stupid shit, stop giving us excuses, and start fucking winning some games. Start getting consistent. And start communicating with each other. Because this shit is ridiculous. This is stupid. You all look fucking retarded right now. Hotshot, you look retarded. Doublelift looks retarded. Link looks retarded. Nien is starting to fire off. He looks retarded. You all look retarded. The CLG looks retarded. Everyone, even people that I didn't name right now, you look retarded. Because when you come out and you tell us stuff like the Scara issue, and then this comes out, and we're like, are you fucking kidding me? You did an interview with Travis to tell us about Scara, but this is happening? How the fuck is Scara the problem? Yes, as a coach, he should have figured this out. That's his fault. That I understand that. As a coach, trust me, I've been a coach. I've coached high school football. I've coached golf. I've coached many things. I am a coach. And not even just a coach of specific things. I'm a coach just in general. I have those type of qualities. Scara's position, yes, maybe he does picks and bans. Maybe he does a strategy. Maybe he's supposed to watch VODs and see what players, their certain tendencies and mechanics. Like, that's all fucking fine and dandy. But Scara also has a responsibility to understand each player at a specific level, which is probably the first thing that he should have done, because these players already understand the game to an extent. So you, as a coach, you need to come in and talk with these guys specifically, not just about the game, but about their lives, and see what their tendencies are, just emotionally, everything. That it requires that much dedication to get into the heart and soul of each player and each person that is daily revolving in that room. Because I'm assuming that most of the guys are in the same room, playing solo queue and streaming or whatever. That is your responsibility as a coach, or whoever they decide to have a coach now. I'm not even sure who it is, because I don't give a fuck. Because I know it's just going to end the same way. He'll have one chance, and that'll be it. Because the problem is that teams are getting these coaches who may have great minds, and look at like a guy like Monty, who, he's not a fucking strategic god or anything. I agree with Link when he says that. But for somebody who doesn't have the mechanics in order, the guy knows his shit. He knows his shit. I may not like Monty's attitude, but man, I love to hear him talk about the game. It's really cool for somebody to have that type of, that just knowledge, just clear knowledge of the game. I kind of lost where I was going with that, but it's just I don't get it. I don't get it as a coach, how that's not the first thing that you attack. I want to get to know Double Lift on this specific level, Zion Spartan. I want to know when the fuck that I want to know down to what time they have like tendencies to eat, or what times they have tendencies to, do whatever. But you get into their mind. You have to be a good coach. You have to have that dedication to getting to know these five guys and how they operate their lives outside the game before you can get inside the game, because it all translates. And if you don't think it does, then you know what, just stay out of esports, and you'll be fine. You'll live your life, you'll be good, get a job, you're fine, you're straight. But that's my whole spiel on the coaching thing. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. See, I'm pretty sure I touched on the fact that okay, so I haven't touched on that yet. So basically, you told us that it was Scara, kind of. This comes out. Now you guys have egg all over your face because it obviously wasn't the problem. This is the problem. Here's how every CLG fan in the world feels about the organization right now. I can guarantee most of you feel this way, because I know I feel this way. I don't want to hear any more press releases. I don't want you to do any more public relations. Stop with the fucking damage control. Shut the fuck up, everyone. All of you fucking idiots. Shut up. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Instead of talking to us, the fans, Hotshot, instead of doing interviews and telling us and getting us all hyped up, instead of taking that energy to come out and give us an excuse, use some of that energy to talk to your players. I'm not saying you don't. What I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. You stop with the social media. Stop talking to us. Stop. Let me turn off this fan real quick. Stop talking to us. Get your players off of social media. Get your players off of Reddit, Twitter, all that type of shit. Stop doing interviews for a little bit. Just stay away from us. Stay away from the community as far as the fans. Because every time that you guys, as CLG, fuck up, which you guys seem to fuck up a lot. You guys do a fantastic job at doing that. You guys seem to have this innate ability to say, wow, fuck, you've messed up. Now we have to put out a release. Guess what? No, you fucking don't. You don't need to do that. You don't. Stop. Stop talking to us. It's not working. We're sick of it. I'm sorry, but I'm sick of it. I love drama. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of you guys coming out, and it's not just Hotshot and coming out with these fucking excuses after excuses, and it was Skara, and it was fucking Yen, and it was, Double if saying, well, fuck, if I had Chowster, and just whatever. Whatever. Stop. Let it go. If you guys make a mistake, stay off of social media. Don't give us any press releases. Nothing. Shut up. Just shut up. Because when you come out and say it was Skara, kind of, and then this comes out, you all look retarded. Because now we just feel like you're lying to us. And again, if you didn't know this was happening, okay. But it doesn't change the fact that you still came out and said it was Skara. That the coaching was the problem. Are you reading the same article as I am right now? Because obviously not. If we're still going to play the Skara card. I don't get it. I don't understand how you could run your team this way. Because you're scared that fans are going to jump off the wagon. I feel like jumping off the wagon because I feel like that you guys are fucking with us. Fucking with me. As a fan, somebody who has been there with you guys, somebody who has rode the hype train, who's crashed and burned, who rode it again, who crashed and burned, who rode it again. I'm tired of you feeding us bullshit, feeding us the fact that, like, well, we're just gonna, like, whatever. We fixed it this time. No, you didn't. And when you guys were in Korea, I saw through that bullshit. Fucking Afro Moo and Link hugging and shit in those interviews, and oh, everything feels great, and I was just rolling my eyes and just going, wow, these motherfuckers are really selling it this time. They're doing it. Wow, they should like be in WWE. This is great. This is like wrestling when I was a kid. Wow, they're really selling it this time, and everyone else bought it. When the Golden Age came out, everyone else bought it. I didn't buy it because I knew what was going to happen. You guys were going to crash and burn. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know that, it was this deep and this bad, but I mean, I like CLG because, I don't know anymore. I used to know. I don't know why I like CLG anymore. I like the history of it. I like the, I don't know. I want it to do well, but it just doesn't do well. And so that's basically my point. That's how I feel, and that's how I'm pretty sure a lot of CLG fans feel, is that we're just tired of hearing from you guys. And as an organization, please do us all a favor. And I'm sure you don't want to delete your guys' Twitter, and I'm sure you don't want to, have all that going on. But you probably should just log out. Log out. And when Travis calls you for that next interview, you probably should decline it. You probably should just shut up. And then start winning some games. And then let's talk. Hell, not even win some games. Have a couple of your players finally come out and just say, hey, man, we really just can't figure it out, but we finally did. And you know, something, I don't know. Maybe that's not even the right way. Because here's the bottom line. I'm not there. I don't live in the CLG house. I am speculating. This is my opinion. It is not fact. And I'm sure, say, if I ever went to the house and said, well, okay, live with us a week, now you can see what really goes on. Maybe I might have a different opinion. Who knows? I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying this is how I feel. This is how I feel that other people are feeling. It just feels wrong. It just feels like you guys are just fucking with the community. Specifically your fans. Like, because who cares about the esports community as a whole? You only care about the people that like you, which is, you know, duh. But, you know, this whole thing is just my opinion. Doesn't mean that I think Hotshot is wrong. Doesn't mean that I think Link is wrong. Doesn't mean that I think Doublelift is wrong or an asshole. Doesn't mean I think even any of those things. I just think that the entire organization as a whole needs to shut the fuck up. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Stop. Okay, you might lose 100 fans. Fuck them. Hell, you might lose me. Fuck me. Whatever. I'm an asshole. Who gives a shit? You're better off without me as a fan, right? That's how you should be thinking about this stuff. I understand. You know, people are going to go watch Doublelift stream or Afro Moose stream. And, you know, I'm not sure if you guys take a piece of that as revenue or whatever. I'm not going to get into all that. I don't fucking care. You know, because that's just another question where people might run with, and then all of a sudden you guys are posting on fucking CLG Reddit or something about, you know, you guys, well, we don't take any revenue. I just don't care. Just shut up. What you need to do is sit these boys down and start turning some of these guys into men. Start turning these kids into respectable athletes. Because guess what? In professional athletes, and I know a thing or two about this, yes, they have egos. Yes, they have these certain things that, you know, they got here because they were great, or they got here because of certain things and whatever. But no matter what, they always had enough respect for each other when it was time to play that all that shit went out the window. And let me say that Doublelift is guilty of this. And he's not guilty of this because we are saying he's guilty of it. He's admitting he's guilty of it. He is telling us, yeah, you know what? I lost faith in the end. Yeah, I lost faith in Seraph. Yeah, I did. You're right. I did. And I was wrong. He's saying I'm wrong. Doesn't mean that we should just forgive him for it. He's got to work on that shit. But that's my point. That thing right there is a way bigger issue than Skara. Link's mindset about how this whole thing right here, that's a fucking problem. Why weren't we dealing with this? Look at how much text there is. It's fucking 18 pages. Now, granted, not all of it was CLG, but look at all this. This is season 3. So we're just gonna be assuming that he was on CLG Black around this time, right? This is page 4 out of 18. Look at all the pages of bullshit, of concerns, of shit. Where was this at? And yes, I said Skara should have been a tougher coach and should have brought this out of the players already. But this is not just Skara. This is your entire retarded organization. Because no one had the balls to step in and go, what the fuck are you idiots doing? Because you guys are so sensitive. But if you guys are wanting to copy Korea, let me go off in a tangent real quick. If you guys are going to want to copy Korea and do your whole double mid thing and your sub shit because it works for SKT, so it'll work for you fucking idiots, it's not. Because I'm not sure if us in NA have finally figured this shit out, but just because they play it over there and you guys are, you know, master and challenger tier players doesn't mean that it works for you. That's like saying that, oh, my friend just won a game in Silver 2 because he played fucking 80 carry Poppy, then maybe I'll try it in Gold. Or Bronze. I guess that would be the better thing. Or Silver 4. Let's not just say Bronze, but let's say Silver 4. I'm not Silver 4, but let's just say, right? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work for you and you haven't tried it because it's not a thing. It works over there because people like that's what that somebody was good at that, so they picked it up. But it's okay because it's them. I don't understand why you guys think that just taking from Korea is okay. If anything, you guys should have taken from Korea this whole time is look how they act with each other. They're brutal. They're brutal. They sit down and they hammer each other, but they have enough respect for each other to go, you know what? I may have called you, yeah, you may have sucked on that play, and that was fucking bullshit. You fed, you idiot. But you know what? We're going to fix it. You're going to fix it because I have faith that you're going to fix it. And you know what? Let's get it done. And then they have coaches who are figuring this shit out. Obviously, because look at the region. Sure, they may take solo queues more seriously. Whatever. That's not even the point. The point and the fact of the matter is you guys should have taken the biggest lesson from Korea the times that you guys have gone, and that's communication. Because we've seen time and time again from these Korean players who have said the same thing. They are fucking brutal to each other. You are not there to be friends. I don't want to see Afromoo and Link hugging in an interview. What the fuck is that shit? What the fuck is it? We're all best friends, and you know what? Fuck you and your friendship. Start winning some games. I'd rather you fucking hate each other and at least respect each other's skills to trust each other in game and win some games. Because it's great when you guys can have that and still be friends, but if you guys are having a struggle within yourself between the game and your friendship, you shouldn't be a professional League of Legends player. You shouldn't. You should not. You should not be anywhere close to this. Because my whole point is that there's people who are professionals at other things who hate each other, who still are able to get along in game. Because how many times in Link's and in Doublelift's responses to the situation at hand do they both say the same shit? In game, we don't trust each other. I mean, really? Really? So how about we take that from Korea? Maybe that's step one, CLG. Take that from Korea. Learn how to communicate with each other. And if you have to drill each other, do it. If that's going to fix this situation, then do it. But not, let's hold hands and be fucking kumbaya. And let's be friends because you have to be friends. I'm tired of hearing that shit. That's so fucking retarded. You guys sound like a bunch of hippies. Grow a pair and start winning some games. Because you guys have the drive to win. And then after, if you want to be friends in the off season, cool. Or if you can manage being friends in game, that's cool. Because I know I have friends, and I'll be the first one to tell them, you fucking suck. And if they say the same thing to me, hey, dude, you fucking suck. What the hell was that gank? I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I did suck. You're right. That was bullshit. What the fuck was I thinking? And I can still, 5 seconds later, say a joke, and we were cool. That's how it's supposed to be. Fucking sensitive. Fuck. I just don't get it. So sensitive. Fucking want to cry on each other's shoulders and shit. But another tangent. I digress. So let's go ahead and kind of skim over. Let's just read a little bit. I don't want to skip over maybe an important part and miss it, but you know what? We're already 30 minutes deep into this video. You know, we got to get some. I want to finish this up and get this posted as soon as possible. Eventually, when things go wrong, Double Lift and Chalister go into the stance where it's like, fuck it, don't die, we're turtling, and we never contested anything. We never had a true shot caller to make proactive comeback plays. Everything was reactive. CLG was reactive. Reactive was the easiest way to lose versus teams like TSM and C9 who knew how to be aggressive and dive. You know, again, we cannot take everything Link or Double Lift says as fact. We just say that this is their opinion, just like this is my opinion. And we just have to just give and take here, okay? Now, that sounds like a decent argument for him to say and bring that out of. This CLG was reactive look, I'm not saying this is true. I don't live in the fucking house. I wasn't there with them when this was going on. But when we look at CLG as a whole, this is completely true. Based on that CLG as a company or whatever is reactive. Look at what's happening with CLG right now. This is all reactive. This is all the fact because it's like not imploding, but it's all like this could only happen to CLG. You know, I don't understand why, but that statement's correct. CLG as an organization is reactive. So how do you have a team who itself, not just the League of Legends team, CLG, who is reactive, and then all of a sudden you just think their team isn't going to be reactive? It starts from the top, and it works its way down. Even if the guys at the top who don't fucking play video games, it starts from the top. Period. That's fact. It starts from the top. How people act up here are how people are going to be down here. And those people down there who are playing are affected by it, whether they believe it or not. It is fact. That cannot be taken away from this. So I'd have to say that, you know what? Maybe the turtling and they didn't contest any dragons or barons or team fights. Okay, that's a little bit more opinionated. Okay, that's cool. But CLG was reactive is absolutely 100% true based on the organization itself. How is that not, you know, I don't get it. We 2-0'd Curse through IRC. We just one lane and won the game. Slashing Minnesota ulti, that was pretty hilarious. CLG is just a story of blame deflection. It's true. I mean, Link does have to understand that this entire article is flame deflection, or flame deflection, whatever. It's all in one. He can't be hypocritical about that because it is slightly hypocritical, but it's not like his whole basis is hypocritical. It's just like, just watch what you say, because you know, I know and then again, he is just explaining, just like Double Lift. He's just explaining his side, so we take it with a grain of salt. We don't take it that fucking serious. So Faker One World, CLG trains roster, Double Lift's roster. So I'm assuming that Double Lift wanted to choose some of the people that he had in mind. That's okay. Even I was questioning myself. Afro questioned himself. So everyone is questioning themselves. So they're in the relegations. I believe this is a relegation game. Pretty simple. Then we played TSM and semis. So maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. So it seems doesn't pick up people like, yeah. And then both lost. So we're talking about Nia and Dexter losing their confidence, which was absolutely true. I mean, if you watched anything about CLG and their show, and you saw, you know, the things that Dexter had to say, this was absolutely true. It came from Dexter himself. We lost Baron. Bjergsen got a pentakill, and the team fell apart after game 2. Game 3, our picks were awful, and we lost every lane and eventually lost the series. I don't remember if we laid out another series afterwards, or if WEP, or if it's just we. I don't know. But if we did, probably versus like Curse or something, 4th place. I strongly believe Nian was on the road to becoming a really good top laner. Dexter was actually a jungler. Afro and Double were strong in laning, and I felt I was top 3 in a mid. Yeah, I mean, I that's fine. All right, I think I want to kind of touch on this a little bit. He do or tell people what he wanted in the early game. He had a plan of how to play the game, and that's literally 99% in NA that they don't do, and the biggest reason why we were terrible as a region. So basically, what he's saying here is that Dexter, was more of a follower. Medio's definitely a leader, a commander. That's true. I think we've all seen that Medios is that way. He figured out win conditions, and he actually got mad at me for telling him one time to tell him where to gank or ward. Because as he goes on to say, people in CLG, people on C9, the word shot caller means you get people to do more team-oriented stuff like Dragon, Baron, control rotations, all that type of stuff. In other words, CLG shot calling was like babysitting, C9 wasn't. So in Link's words, CLG idea of shot calling is, hey, ward here and apply pressure there and do those types of things. Honestly, if C9 was, I'm not sure if they still are, but Link played for him, so I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not saying he's just talking out of his ass here. If C9's version of shot calling is just getting people ready for objective type things, look at the difference between a team like C9 and CLG then. Because it speaks for itself. Look how many times CLG has won an LCS. Okay, now that you thought, how many times has C9 won a split? That's really interesting, is it? How long has CLG been in the LCS? And how long has C9 been in the LCS? Now it gets more interesting, huh? When you think about it that way. So why is it a team that is relatively young compared to CLG is able to communicate on that level? Because obviously it can be done. It's not about the length of time being a team, because they weren't a team as long as CLG has been. Of course, roster swaps, I get that. With every new addition, it makes the game exponentially harder, because now you have to figure out a new person. That's cool. But if CLG is shot calling and it feels like babysitting, and C9 wasn't, and they're just generally, calling stuff out, then there's a big problem with CLG shot calling. Obviously, we've known this, but not shot calling from the standpoint of who's the shot caller, who's the dominant shot caller, the shot caller who's making the right choices, but the style. Whoever's shot calling, their style is wrong. Right? That's just bottom line. If one of the best teams NA is not shot calling like you, I'm not saying go and copy them, because I'm not a fan of that shit. You need to find what works for your team, but the bottom line is it's not working. Shot calling, telling people where to ward and apply pressure and when, that type of stuff isn't working. It's just not, obviously. So why don't we figure that problem out, right? Another roster change, Nian left. I was definitely a Nian hater. And then once he left and his reasons and all that, I felt like a dick. And especially now that all this has come out, I feel like an even bigger dick for being mean to him and saying the things I did. I think, I feel really bad for Nian now. I really do. I think that you know, we were really mean to him, and I think that I think that Nian would have been fine if it was just us critiquing him, being the idiot bronzies that we are because we're not good enough to be on pro teams. That he would have been okay with that. I think he could have dealt with the pressure of the community and the CLG fans. I don't question him on that, but I cannot blame him for being on a team with a guy like Doublelift. Now, I'll preference it. I'm not saying Doublelift's evil. What I'm saying, a guy like Doublelift who lost all faith in you. How would that make you feel? I'd want to get off the fucking team too. And I wouldn't have been as nice as Nian was. I would have been throwing middle fingers up in the air. Fuck all of you guys. Because if we take what Link is saying with a grain of salt, then we have to 50% chance to believe that some of the things that Nian was doing that wasn't so quote unquote smart was coming from the team's shot calling, was coming from the fact that this is how the other people on the team wanted him to play. You know? So how can we completely blame Nian? It's not fair. We were really bad to that guy. It wasn't right. Because it's kind of like this. I'm not sure if a bunch of you guys have a significant other, but it's kind of like going to work and getting shit on at work and just being like, fuck my job. And then coming home and having your wife fucking yell at you. Because you didn't fucking wipe your shoes on the mat. It's like, you know what? I don't need this shit. It's my fucking house. I'll fucking walk where the fuck I want. Right? So, Nian is dealing with the fact that Doublelift, or just let's say the team. Okay, let's be fair. Let's just say everyone. It's not just single out Doublelift. Because, like I said, I don't believe that Doublelift is the primary problem here. I just don't. I think this is fucked up that he did this to multiple people, but it doesn't mean that Doublelift's a bad guy. It just doesn't. You can't do that. But I'll digress. We'll get to Doublelift. If I was Nian and had to deal with that shit and feel like no one believed in me, and then I had to come, you know, I'm sure he could have shut off his social media, but if he was seeing the stuff that we were saying about him, how the fuck do you expect a guy to be okay? How do you expect a guy to go into LCS and go, man, I can't wait to be a fucking Reddit highlight tonight and just have thousands of people hate me? Because it's bad enough I already have somebody that I like Doublelift, like he said, I respect him, just tear me down. Made me feel like I'm worthless. I feel horrible for Nian. Sucks, man. This whole thing just makes me like just really just feel bad for him. Really bad for him. So they're talking about the I believe Korean top laner, so that's cool. They got Seraph. I wasn't necessarily a big fan of Seraph. I knew he wasn't going to be that amazing. I think, I'm not sure, I may have this completely wrong, but I think, you know, I was really, really like pumped about Quas around this time. I still thought Quas was one of the better tops. I think there's something about his style that I really like. So I was really more pumped about that. I didn't really give a shit that CLG got a Korean top laner, because everything that they've done Korean-wise has never worked, so I just never cared. And I didn't pay much attention to Seraph. But I think Seraph, same thing, you know, they just, you know, you have a guy that had a language issue, and it just, you know, that's where it starts, right? So season 5, the tryouts. Seraph got kicked for Zion. I thought Zion was a really good pickup. Next we tried junglers, Xmithy. I thought Xmithy was a good pickup. So this is all good. This is kind of where we come into the like, oh man, we're gonna do it. Everything's gonna be great. And it just didn't. So let's skip down to kind of the important parts. Basically, he talks about Zion wanting to play carry tops, but he played pretty much meta champions. I think a guy like Zion, yeah, he goes ham. But you kind of, if you're gonna have Zion on your team, you need to let him roll the dice. You can't put him in the meta box. You can't do it. Because Zion will know what he's comfortable with. If he's comfortable playing a meta champion in a certain matchup, you got to trust him. This is where a coach is so prominent and why you have to have the right guy. Because you really have to know how he plays in certain matchups. So he says that, he had issues in 2v1. He says Zion sometimes has issues knowing what to do. Critiques him, but I think, Link, from what I'm reading, has a lot of respect for Zion. Xmithy is a follower, so another guy that CLG got that apparently is a follower, not a leader. So, and we all saw that Sejuani game. That's legendary. But just because I'm still on that Nien Fields train, I'm going to give Xmithy a pass. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about the Sejuani game because we all saw what the fuck that was. That was just... So I don't see that shit in gold 3 where I'm at. That's crazy. I see people hitting great ults. Kappa. All right, let's keep going. So he says that Xmithy hasn't really stepped up, and it's not his fault. So that I don't think that Xmithy is that bad. Double lift. Basically sums it up here. Good friend, yet a horrible teammate. And we cannot fault Link for saying this because when Double Lift comes out and pretty much says lost trust with Dexter, Nian, and Seraph, he says true and I'm sorry. He is telling you that he did it. And that is the shittiest thing you can do as a teammate, is lose trust. There's no, and he says right here, I could write pages giving context. But Double Lift changes his story, or not story, I'm sorry. He changes his tone and says, but it's still wrong of me. And that's exactly what Double Lift should have done. And that's exactly what he should have said. Because if this is true, like he's saying it is, right here, true, then fuck your context. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what happened to you. You don't do that. Period. And I'm glad that he didn't make an excuse for it. I'm glad that he owned up to it. Because that's what he should do. And I think that a lot of people respect Double Lift for saying that. Because it's hard when, as a player of his caliber, when he's confronted by not only Link's words, but an entire community, that he has to say that what Link said is true and I'm sorry. And that it was wrong of me. That takes guts to do. To apologize to not just Link's perception of the event, but to everyone else. Pretty much all CLG fans, right? So I think that you can only respect Double Lift in that situation. If we go back to Link here. Obviously Link and Double Lift don't see the game the same way. They just don't. And that's a big problem when your AD carry and your mid don't see the same way. I'm not saying they have to see it exactly the same way, but obviously there's no one on this team who is regulating this shit. And it doesn't mean regulating pick a side. It means that both of these motherfuckers need to come to a consensus. You have to compromise. Period. Okay? So that's a little fucky to me. So yeah, I mean, basically that encompasses everything that he feels about Double Lift. Good friend, horrible teammate. Again, if that's true or not, whatever. I just think it's a viable thing to think about. It's a viable thing to understand as we read on. Afromoo says that he's the quietest, even more quiet than Xmithy, very observant and pretty smart when it comes to the game. Which I think we can all agree to that. A lot of this assumption on Doublelift getting mad when Afro leaves lane, whatever. That's not what the CLG shit is about. I that to me is just kind of like nitpicking a little bit. It's just yeah. Did you see how many 3v3s happened on the top side? Yeah, they dove top a lot. There was a lot of teams diving fucking top lane. There was, yeah, absolutely, but it's not really. What the problem is communication. Outside the game first. Outside the game is the problem. Stop trying to fix the shit inside the game. So Link pretty much. This is what I don't like. I don't like this sentence here. So what I did for the team and what CLG is going to be missing out on. First, let me tell you, Link, that you are replaceable. Okay, you're replaceable. There's somebody out there, no matter where they are, who is better than you, who is smarter than you, who can do all the things that you can't do, and does the things that you do better. No matter what you do. No matter what plateau you get to, you are stuck knowing that there's always someone better. So just keep that in mind when you say this type of stuff. What CLG is going to be missing out on, because who knows? Maybe Pole Belcher might come out and just fucking shred shit. Maybe he finally fits the team that he goes ham on. So far, I haven't really seen it. Yeah, Evil Geniuses, they were okay. Winter Fox, they had some games, but maybe this time, Pole Belcher goes off. Who knows? Maybe he's the missing piece. So I would just be careful with that. When you go off that type of limb, that there's a lot of arrogance in that statement. And I think that if you want to keep your message and what you're trying to get across to people, this right here fucking kills it for me. Kinda. I still listen to everything you say, and I think you make some great points. And I'm not stupid enough to kind of let that get in the way of that, but that's really arrogant. I think that's retarded. Straight stupid to say that. This whole thing was what I do right and what I'm great at and what everyone should love me for. And daddy didn't love me, and this is what CLG, my daddy beat me, and no one ever loved me, and I'm the middle child. And this is fucking your siblings who got away with murder, and you're pissed at everyone. So that's a little. I don't like how you're the fucking golden child here. There's a lot of golden child stuff, and not. I'm sure you said some decent stuff about, some people, but like everyone got a sentence or two, roughly. That's not exact. Don't fucking quote me on that. Just saying that when I read through this, it felt like it was bullshit and then golden child. But it doesn't mean I discredit everything you say here. That's not true. I don't discredit actually a lot of things you say. I was at one point doing level 1s, telling Jake what buff to start, or what was ideal to his gank path, and what most likely win us the game. So win conditions. I tell everyone what lane they should be in and what lane they shouldn't be in. I make sure people buy Aegis or correct items, and many times people fail to listen. I remind people to buy pink wards. Well, so let's bring up this. Many times people failed to listen. So when we were shouting Golden Age, where the fuck was this? Because obviously no one talked about it, and I don't want to hear anybody getting on the horn from CLG saying, well, we already knew this stuff was happening. No, you fucking didn't, because again, it goes back to a couple weeks ago when you were selling us that bullshit. This didn't come up. Yes, you don't have to tell us. Yes, but don't tell us other shit. You either going to tell us everything or don't say anything at all. That's kind of the point that I'm getting here. Tell us everything or don't tell us fucking jack shit. Okay? I remind people to buy pink wards. That's fucking absolutely absurd. And I tell people I have to team fight. So that's, his opinion. That's cool. I think that Link kind of comes down from fucking planet Mars or wherever the fuck he was flying to, or whatever fucking drugs he was smoking when he wrote this part. He kind of was coming down off the acid trip, and I think the liquor was kind of wearing off, and he goes, man, I hope I'm wrong about some of this stuff. which for about a paragraph is probably the smartest thing that he's said so far. So I'm glad that he kind of came back to cloud, back down from the cloud 9. So you like that pun? That was a good pun there, right? I like that one. So man, I hope I'm wrong about some of this stuff. I really believe him when he says that. I really believe when he goes, you know what? I hope that it was just me, and I hope that the team's going to carry on. But that's what it felt like when I was on the team, and he preferenced that beautifully. That's what I felt. That's what it felt like. He didn't say that's what it was. He said that's what it felt like. Now, yes, I'm not one for, being politically correct, because I don't care about that. If you're sensitive, get the fuck out of here. Stop watching the video. I don't even know why you're still listening to me if you're so soft like that. But that's his opinion. He's stating that it's an opinion, and I think that's how you're supposed to talk to people. You don't just fucking shove shit in their face and say it's fact. That's fucking dumb. Shit, I need to take a hit of the vape pen, but I'm almost done. Actually, I'm not, and we're 56 minutes deep. That's fucking crazy. So yeah, he says that when I get no response or silence, I saw no improvement in gameplay. That's true. That will happen if you're saying stuff and no one's responding. Well, and not just in game. That just means like if you're having like an issue and you're expressing yourself and no one's talking to you, you feel more like shit because you feel like no one cares about what you have to say. So I don't make the perfect calls. I fuck up, but if I fuck up, we are all fucked is pretty much what he's saying. That's why I didn't see us doing remotely well at Worlds. If you ever get to Worlds, even I know I'm not a perfect player, which everyone's not a perfect player. There's no one besides me to help me. Then what am I supposed to do when I've tried to do all the things before scrim, after scrim? I really tried to help people after the game and tried to change their mentality, but you try telling Double if Sork Shoes is better on Corky than Berserkers. That's, I'm not there, but, we all know Double Lift is pretty, when you see him on the analyst desk, he holds pretty firm to what he believes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with Link using this as an example. But to be honest, the Sork Shoes between the Zerk Greaves doesn't fucking matter in the grand scope. That's not what this is about. What this is about is just having somebody listen. Maybe they didn't communicate well enough. Maybe it was Link's, Link says, hey, the Sork Shoes are this and that. And I'm not saying it like Link is saying it like a great guy. Let's just assume that Link is saying it like a good guy. And Double Lift's a fucking dick. Okay? Link says what he has to say to Double Lift about the shoes, right? Double Lift, fuck you, I'm an 80 carry, go fuck yourself. Or he just is passive aggressive, right? He gives him the special. Or it can be Link being frustrated after a scrim and saying, Double Lift, why had you just built Sork Shoes, they had a bunch of, armor. You could have shredded some of you could have did some of your magic damage and shredded the armor. They were stacking health or whatever. And then they could what the fuck are you thinking? And Double Lift being like, you know what? I don't have to listen to this. Because you're not coming at me right. So maybe they both feel like each other when they would talk weren't coming at each other with the proper respect or in the right way. Which, guess what? You have to listen to criticism. And when somebody rebuttals your criticism, you have to learn how to talk to each other in the correct way. You have to. There's no other choice. You have to get along, right? So that's a little bit, how do you say, opinionated. the biggest problem I have is Double doesn't really play as a team player. I mean, he flamed the entire team and blame deflected after playoffs ended, and biggest backstab. Opinion, we're not there. We can't say he hopes that CLG will do well. And then have Pob. Do I rant a lot? Yeah, probably. I was promised change and there wasn't change. Well, I mean, this isn't the first time we heard this, right? Well, remember when apparently they promised Link that change was going to happen. Here's kind of some proof of why I believe that this is a true statement and why this is fact is because if we all remember when Afromu started playing with Double Lift again and they were having fun and everything was going great, and this was confirmed because Afromu said this in an interview, so I'm not talking out of my ass here. When Afromu was asked about the situation coming back to CLG after leaving, he expressed that one of the only reasons he came back was because he was told that it was there was change. He was told that everything was going to be different. That the old CLG, that how it was working, and the CLG that Afromu was frustrated with didn't exist anymore. That they were reformed. That's what he was told. Now, Afromu is still there, so I'm not saying that it's not. If it was a lot worse than this, then holy fuck. No wonder he left. But, this isn't the first time that a CLG member has confirmed that they were promised change. So, you can't let that slide. That's just, stop promising. CLG, stop promising your players shit. Just do it. Your word doesn't mean shit anymore. No one cares about what you have to say. Just start doing stuff. I'm pretty much done with League, and then pretty much that's, shouts out to all these people. I think, yeah. So that's pretty much what Link had to say. He went in. He went hard. He went ham. I wish he would have, played as well as he writes in playoffs. That would have been great. See, I'm just firing shots. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Okay. Got a drink of water. I guess my only response to the playoff thing is we saw what Xmithy did. Okay, we saw that. I said I wasn't going to say much about it, so I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not sure what game it was, but I remember Link's Lissandra, and that shit made me want to cry. Legit made me want to cry. Because I'm one of those people, I'm kind of like a retarded Monte Cristo. Like, I'm not that knowledgeable, in that level at all about the game. And my mechanics aren't great because I have tremors and it's hard for me to, be very accurate. And, my mechanics just aren't really there. And that's why I'm in Gold 3, because I suck. But if I didn't have the knowledge of the game, I'd be in such a worse position. It would be harder for me to even break out of silver. But I have enough game knowledge to know that Lissandra was really bad. I remember watching that and just going, oh boy. Because there was a part where there was a team fight about to happen in River, and Link used his E, and Xmithy was downriver, and this was near Dragon Pit. And Xmithy is walking back and forth, which I don't understand why, because TL was in a choke point. They were in a position where there was no... TL could only come from one direction. They can only come towards CLG in a small area. Kind of like if you use the whatever analogy, like 300. There was 300 Spartans. They were, or whatever they were. I don't give a shit. They were in the canyon, and they used the canyon as a small space because it fills the space up. Well, when the armies were coming after them, only so many people can fight the Spartans at one time because there's not enough room, right? So that was their advantage. That was a tactical advantage. The issue was that when they're in a choke point like that, and when Link used his E, it's like, it didn't go. You just go. And if Smithy, more than Link at that point, should have moved upriver, shouldn't have been so pussy, and should have walked up, and him and Link should have been ready to engage in that choke point. I can't remember exactly what their team comp was after that, but I'm pretty sure that they could have handled that fight. But they couldn't pull the trigger. And I believe that Link missed his ult too right after that. I mean, Link did not look good in playoffs. He didn't. But CLG didn't look good in playoffs. And Smithy didn't look good in playoffs. No one really looked good. It was not Link's fault that they lost. But, I mean, he was kind of having a little bit of high syndrome. It just wasn't working anymore. It just wasn't. You know, I don't know what was happening. It just wasn't working. So, that's Link's side. So far, it's been about an hour. A little bit more than an hour. You've gotten my opinion first. My thoughts on Link's opinion. I'll just sum it up before we go to Doublelift and try to finish this off in the next 15 minutes. Is that I understand what Link is saying, and I think that we all respect Link for the work that he's put in and the time that he's given to this team, and it's unfortunate that it didn't work out. You're not the golden child. And I'm sorry you felt like the middle child, but CLG will be fine without you. They'll be just fine. In the sense of that you're definitely replaceable. Doublelift is definitely replaceable. Everyone on that team is 100% replaceable. If C9 went to go replace Meteos, I'd be a little fucking scared for them. Meteos really isn't replaceable. I don't think anybody on that team really is replaceable. I've seen Balls do some stupid shit, but he's consistent. Everyone on that team is consistent. TSM, everyone was pissed at Dyrus. But is it really Dyrus' fault? Or maybe is the team playing in such a way where he kind of gets fucked? How do you defend against a 3v1 dive top lane? Normally they're executed by teams that know how to do it flawlessly. You're kind of fucked in the 2v1 lane. It's hard. So, instead of blaming people, because in solo queue, when you're top, you fucking are top. Playing against another guy who's playing top lane. In LCS, that's not sometimes always going to happen. So let's give these top laners a little grain of salt. Let's be okay with that. It's another rant, just saying, that's kind of my point with that one. So we heard Link's, my opinion on Link. Here's my opinion on Doublelift. He owned up to a lot of stuff that he said, that Link had said. He didn't discredit Link really at all. There was times where he, like this said, I'm true and I'm sorry. I've allowed fucking Doublelift has an aggressive and loud voice. First, I can't control my voice. Yes, you can. Just saying you can. Let's not get out of control here. I think you said that in the heat of the moment. Because as you've heard me talk, as I am right now, all I'd have to do is this. And talk a little differently. A little quiet, a little softer. I understand maybe in the, the heat of battle, it's harder to do this because, you're hyped up and you want to, get crazy and you want people to do certain things, but you can change your voice. You can be a little softer. You can be a little bit more cool-headed. You can sound a little bit more professional. You can change your voice. It's very easy to do. But if I go back to my normal voice and I'm loud and aggressive like normally I am, as you guys have heard me talk for the last hour and 10 minutes, I am very aggressive in my voice. I have a certain grit to it. I cuss a lot, and I'm pissed. So yeah, I'm going to be aggressive. But I know if I'm in game, I know I need to speak a little differently. I need to work on that. I need to work on making sure that my teammate is okay. I need to make sure that I'm farming well. I need to make sure that I have really good sync. I'm in sync with my support. I'm on sync with my jungler, knowing maybe where their jungler is or where. It's easy. You can practice your voice. I'm sorry to let you know, but you can control your voice. Just as I'm doing now. It's not even just that I'm speaking softer, but it's not even just a lower volume. I've literally changed my entire voice to mimic something that would be a little bit more appropriate for professional play. The problem is that most gamers learn their entire gaming career, even when they're not professionals, that you can scream and talk how you want and call people faggots, and that's all great. But in a professional setting, yelling isn't going to work. Okay? So yes, you can change your voice. All right. So that my rant is done. Don't ever say that again, or I'll call you out. Not that I matter, because fuck me, but I will tweet you and fuck you if you say that again. That's ridiculous. Second, I don't agree that I'm shot caller. Okay, that's fine. We'll move on. That I only care about lane. This point is good, but exaggerated. Again, he gives credit to Link, but he is also saying that it's not exactly how Link is saying. I think that's good because there are times that he very much undermines Link's opinion, but it's all fair in love and war. Right now, they're not really loving on each other, so I can understand it. It's like it says, it's fucking 2v1 rolling on the floor laughing. Raffle, if you will. Okay? Right here, he's basically saying, like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's 2v1. Are you out of your fucking mind? It's basically the translation. So that stuff I'm okay with because, he's not understanding. But, right? It's just, is it really necessary? Do you just need to get your point across? Maybe the passive aggressiveness doesn't necessarily need to be there. Too big and of an ego and refused to improve. We all know Doublelift has an ego. It says that Link did say that he gave up on Doublelift, and this entire thing, all the words used about shot callers and game leaders are lazy, quiet, unconfident, and jaded. So it's a little concerning, and Doublelift makes a point here. If all the shot callers, because Link did say that, all the shot callers are lazy, quiet, unconfident, and jaded, then maybe Link's whole thing about Doublelift doesn't match. Doesn't work. It doesn't. So Link's got to be careful in what he says because it's either one thing or it's another. It's not either or, depending on what you want to say and how you feel at that exact moment you're typing something. It's got to be even across the board. He goes on to say Monty was not an effective coach, but neither was Scarra, and we all, everyone in CLG is saying that Scarra was not an effective coach. So to change anything because he felt like the team was working itself out. If Scarra believed that this situation, that everything that was happening was working itself out, I hope to God that Scarra never coaches another team ever again because he doesn't understand the basic concepts of coaching. Also, let's think about what was that thing? I believe it was CLG where they had like job listings where they were like they wanted certain, like, wasn't it for like a new coach? and they wanted like a college degree, and they wanted like all that type of shit. That's another. See, you're retarded. You're straight stupid. How about you get an actual coach? Let the players focus on the game stuff. You know, get a guy who understands the league. Like that's always a given. But a guy who has coaching experience on a field or in a classroom. Something. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy. How did you not know he was this way before you even hired him? You know? Oh, maybe because he was with another team and you guys poached, huh? See, I'm just firing shots. I'm just kidding. Okay, that was a joke. I hope I don't get fined for this. Nick Allen, please, I beg. So he says, I will not discredit Link. I think some of his points are valid, legit. Having problems as a player with team fighting, grouping builds, I agree with completely every player has their weak spots, and these are currently mine. I've lost trust in my former teammates, which is something I should never have done. I apologize to everyone that I don't fully believe in. You know, you gotta give him credit there. You can't, because I guarantee you, after everyone read this shit, everyone was ready to burn Doublelift. Everyone was ready to roast that motherfucker. Roast him. Okay, roast. But after reading Doublelift's shit, you can't. Because then you realize that these are two people that just don't understand each other. They just don't. They were never good for each other in the first place. And no one saw it. And it was fucking ridiculous. Again, that's why I don't blame specifically Doublelift. That's why I don't blame specifically Hotshot or Link or anybody else on this team. I blame the organization as a whole. Because it's not run correctly at all. And Hotshot can post up whatever saying, you don't fucking know. You're not in whatever. Yeah, you know what? I don't fucking know, but you know what I do know? Statistics. And yours don't look so good. They don't look alright. This here, from your player and your former player, that doesn't look right. So you can't tell me that my opinion isn't a valid opinion. I'm not saying you need to accept it as fact, but you have to accept it as a valid opinion based on the fact that your players are saying this shit. This isn't some Reddit fucking thug. This isn't some fucking asshole in Twitch chat. These are your players. At least a former and a current. These are your people. What the fuck are you talking about? If you came out and said some shit like that to any fan. Right? Crazy. I hope you don't, because that'd just be you look like a fool, like a legit fool. You already look retarded. All of you guys look retarded, but you guys would take it to a whole nother level. So all of his points about me being, overbearing, loud, calling for ganks, Link did say no one was talking. I guess, okay. But then I think at the end of Link's article, he does start to correct that a little bit. So you can't be like too hard on Link for it. He's just fucking hilarious. If you watch our TL playoff games, our 2v1 swap was focused entirely on getting top lane ahead, to getting Zion ahead, which I think is a good plan. Zion had a huge advantage over Quas in all three games. If you look at all the current state of the teams, I am the only layer. If you think I am in the current state of the team, I'm a lane-only player, you're delusional. It's a very heavy statement. A lot of criticism lacks context, which is something you can easily digest and circle a jerk about, which is true because a lot of people got fucking riled up about what Link was saying. I know I did. I didn't want to crucify Doublelift right away. I wanted to wait till he had something to say, but it was really easy to get the pitchforks out. I was ready. Fact is, I did trust them, and that's why I know my place as a follower. I stepped up as much as I could to keep us relevant as a team. Anyone, please point out Dexter, Seraph, Link era, which one of our lanes we could consistently get ahead versus the top teams like C9, TSM, or LMQ. So basically, kind of Double Lift goes on this whole thing of I've always been the consistent. I'm the top player. It's great. You never, really won anything, but you can keep saying it for as long as you're a player, even when you retire, that I was one of the best. It's fine. We'll listen to you. We'll hear it. That's great. But there's no validity in anything that you're saying because it's kind of like if I had a record deal, right? And I released an album. Great. I'm with Atlantic Records. I have a great record label. I have one of the best record labels in the world. And I'm about to release an album. But then no one buys it. What the fuck do I have? Just because I'm signed with a label doesn't make me great. I didn't win anything. I didn't do anything. That's your career right now. That's where you're at. The fact of the matter is that you have played this game for a lengthy amount of time. You have been on CLG for a lengthy amount of time. That is your record deal. The fact that you're in the LCS, that you have been in the LCS for as long as you have, is a feat. And it's great. And it does somewhat give you the right in certain aspects to say that you're a great player, because great players don't stay in the LCS if they're not great. There's something about you that's great. Look how many teams that we've seen just in the last few splits that have come and gone. Coast and Complexity, all these teams that came and left came and then left as soon as they came in. We saw them for just a brief amount of time. The fact that you're still in the LCS proves a major point about the caliber of player you are. And that does put you on a higher echelon. That's cool. No one can argue that. But what the fuck have you won, man? What have you done? Honestly. Wild Turtles won a split. Right? Sneakies won a split. Have you? What makes you greater than them? How can you think, other than the fact that maybe your ego needs it, in the sense of, if I don't believe that I'm the top player in NA, then I don't feel like I'm the top. Like, I get that. It's like that rapper thing. I'm the best rapper in the world. Well, why wouldn't you say that? You're supposed to believe you're the best. You're supposed to have that confidence. That's cool. And I love when you talk shit to people. I love when you have that confidence. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that, Double Lift. I respect you for it. It's hard. It's harder to do what you do, being out front with how you feel, than it is just being a quiet teammate and never having a voice or a personality in the sport. You've given us many hours of entertainment on the fact that you can be a dick sometimes. You can be arrogant. You can talk a lot of shit. How can we dislike him for that? How can we dislike you for that? We can't. You're entertaining, and that's part of the thing, right? If I was a pro player, Double Lift, I would throw you under the fucking table. You don't know what trash talk is. You have no idea. I have no soul and no mercy when it comes to competition. You think you talk some mad shit. If I was good enough to be half as good as a player as you were, or Link, or anybody in the LCS, if I was even remotely half as good, and I was in the LCS, oh my god, I would have highlight reels. I'd be banned because I don't give a fuck. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Ban me from LCS? Fuck you. I'll do it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't care. Rich gang. I would. Why not? If I was top laner, I'd be talking shit to Dyrus in all chat. Come on, walk up, bitch. Get the CS. I would. I would. What are you gonna tell me I can't? Whatever. But at least I made a statement. At least I went out doing it the way I wanted to do it. So I respect this shit talk. That's cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But where were we at? Let's see. Anyways, he flamed the entire team, blame deflected. But yeah. No, I think where I was kind of going with that is like, that's cool to shit talk. But like, if you're that way, I can't see how you're that way in like just your personality. And when it comes time to your teammates who you don't respect anymore, I'm not saying that you do it to them, but that you have at least a passive aggressive approach to dealing with those people. I can't see how that wouldn't be a thing, because you've admitted that you've lost faith. You've admitted that you've lost trust. So I can see where you might have been an asshole to them too. And it's okay if you did, as long as you own up to it. I did a lot of things I'm not proud of. I apologize for it. We must be playing two different versions of League of Legends. We need leadership on the team who can effectively solve problems and not put all that burden on Link. Or blame me for the fact that we suck at playing together, which is absolutely true. You know, basically, here's what sums it up. These two suck at playing together. They suck at playing together. And that was the problem all along. Not to say that this has always been CLG's problem, but this was a problem that has been ignored for too long. Because here's what would make it worse. Here's the only thing that could make it worse. The fact that if this was already known to the organization, could you believe this story? Could you believe that these two still have the things that they have to say? They never expressed this to each other. And if they did and the team knew about it, that we're still hearing about it? That means CLG just needs to go away. I'm telling you right now, if I find out that CLG knew about this before yesterday when Link posted this, and then Double If had to come out and said what he had to say. If CLG knew about this problem with Scara or Monte Cristo or any other coach prior to yesterday, they should disband the organization. Hotshot should be permanently banned from League of Legends. Permanently. Ban every one of his accounts and get him away from our community, because this is absolutely irresponsible. As a person in his position. And anybody associated with CLG should be banned permanently. Because this is toxic as fuck. That's another thing people aren't talking about. This is toxic as shit. And the reason why I'm validated on that point, because if it was me and I was talking all that shit, I wouldn't post a Reddit thread going, I wonder why I was banned. Riot's just out to get me. No, you know what I come out and say? I deserve to be banned. I was a dick. I was toxic. I mean, didn't you guys see the VOD? Why are people defending me? Didn't you see me called Dyrus a stupid ass fuck? In game? Like what? Why would you guys defend me? That's what I would be saying. I cannot believe they didn't ban me quicker. What the fuck is Riot doing? Because I'm just that way. That's how I am. And I expect other people to realize that about themselves. Is when they fuck up, they fuck up. Maybe I fucked up in this video. Maybe at some point you thought I was the biggest idiot in the world. That's fine. That you have your opinion, that's cool. You're every bit entitled to your opinion. And you should be respected for your opinion. Just like I should. You don't have to like what I have to say. You should respect it, though. So that's pretty much what I sum up on these articles. Basically, these two guys should have never, ever played together. And if they were having these issues and never talked about it, we have our answer to a big reason why CLG has had the problems that they've had. If the organization has known about these problems and they've talked about this with these players and they still never came to a resolution and there's still these crazy feelings that these two are having against each other, CLG has failed the players. Scara didn't fail them. Monte Cristo didn't fail. CLG failed. The organization failed the players because they were not on top of it. I cannot imagine in any world where I would be an owner of a team, and if I were to know about this type of situation, all this shit, and just sweep it under the rug, I couldn't fucking imagine that. I would just sell my company and say, I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm so dumb. So please, at CLGO, a bit of warning. If you're thinking about doing PR, stop for a second and think. What would Gage do? What would Dimebag LOL do? You know what he would do? He'd tell you to shut up. Go back to the drawing board. Put your players in a fucking metal cage and tell them to play League of Legends. Tell them not to stream. Tell them to stay off of social media. Tell them if they want to continue being on this team, they're going to get their shit out in the open and they're going to air out their dirty laundry once and for fucking all. And once you get your dirty laundry out in the open and we talk about it, get the fuck over it or walk out the fucking door. Get out. If you can't get over your little bullshit, get the fuck out of the house. Move out. Go play for fucking disbanded Team Fusion. I don't give a fuck. But that's what I'd be telling my players right now. I'd already had sat them down the second I read Link's shit last night. Had I not known about the situation, I said, we're going to air this shit out right now, or we're fucking, you all are gone. Fuck all of you. I'll go pick up some Challenger kids that are ready to rock and roll. Fuck all of you. I'll pull CLG right out of LCS right now. We are handling this shit. Because that's the type of voice that they need. I'm not saying they need someone like me, but I guarantee you someone like me, not necessarily me, would be able to control a situation like this. Because I guarantee you, say if it was me and I was having to pick up the fucking shipwreck that is CLG after this event, I guarantee you that I may have liked Zion Spartan in life. I may have liked Xmithy. I may have liked Afro Moo. I may have liked Double Lift. Maybe we could have been friends, you know? But I guarantee if it was me in this situation, getting this shit together, you're not my friend. I'm not your friend. You will respect me. I'll respect you too. You don't deserve it, but I'll respect you. But I guarantee you, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to make this club win. And if you're not on board with that and don't respect my will to drive, my drive to win, then I'm going to leave you at the next stop. Because my competitive drive is so vast. They think they have competitive drive. They have no idea what it takes to win. If they're bitching about shit like this, they have no idea what it takes. And that's maybe the reason why Double Lift hasn't won. Now that's shots fired. Unfortunately, they're not really shots as much as facts. It's the way it is. CLG. Here's my final statement before I stop this video. It's an hour and a half long. No one's going to watch this shit. No one's going to watch this. Guarantee you. But I'm going to get it out there because it needs some. If it helps one person understand, you know, this whole debacle, then it's worth it to me. It's worth taking the time to talk to my fellow CLG brethren and sisterin, whatever the fuck you say, to explain the fact that, you know what, we have every right to be upset with you guys right now. But CLG, here's my final statement. Here's the whole point. Shut up. Stop talking. Stop posting stuff. I don't care about what new shirt you have in your store, because true CLG fans will find the store. True CLG fans will find every bit of information they need to be able to support your brand, to support your organization, and to support you in your future endeavors with whatever you choose to do with this fucking horrendous thing that you call a League of Legends team. On top of that, please remember that right now, most of us don't give a fuck about you. So try replicating that back to us and utilize the golden rule and stop fucking caring about what we have to say. Just win. Just communicate. Use that effort and that energy that you use to call up Travis and have his stupid, goofy ass come to your house to interview you, or in a, God forbid you do it in a hot tub, because that's not fucking retarded, and that doesn't look stupid. That, maybe, hey, maybe I should use that energy and maybe talk to Afro Moon, see how he's feeling today. Maybe I should take that 20 minutes and tell Travis to go fuck himself and go interview High again about, how many times do we need to hear about High's fucking retirement story that no one gives a fuck about. I don't care about, I'm sorry that he had his collapsed lung. That sucks. I'm sorry that he has a wrist injury, because that sucks. And I'm sorry that, his career went the way that he didn't expect it to go. That's cool, it sucks. But, I don't really care. I respect you for you as a player. You're fucking amazing. I still think you're amazing. I still think you can still be top player, mid and NA, but you took the road you had to do, and no one could do anything but respect you for it. But, CLG, just stay away from Travis. Or Thorin, or, fucking Richard Lewis. I don't give a fuck, dude. Stay away. Delete your Twitter, whatever you have to do. Shut down your website. Do whatever you have to do. I mean, leave it open. You have other teams. I forget about that. No one really cares, but, just get your guys away from people for a little bit. Go take them on a trip. Just anything but Korea. Take them to Hawaii. Take them to fucking backwoods and fucking goddamn Mississippi, where they'll chase Afro Moon and try to fucking, kill him because he's black. Go do that. Maybe that'll be an adventure. Maybe Double If will see that they're trying to kill his support. Maybe, they'll have a bonding experience. But it's definitely not going to be in Korea. Korea's probably not the answer anymore, so we should probably stop doing that. So maybe Mississippi might be a better option, or any other southern state. Or you could take Double If somewhere that's racially fucking whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I don't think about that type of stuff. Just something that's going to help these guys. Because I can sit here and bullshit with you and tell you that I know what to do, but it's not my team. I don't know these people. I don't have the fucking answers. And if you think this video was about me having the answers, then again, CLG does what it does best and doesn't understand, what the fuck to get out of a lesson. Because remember, when you say things like it's the golden era and that we fixed all the problems, that we're going to be good this split and we're all good and look how well we're doing, that's all fine and dandy. That's great. But when it all comes crashing to a fucking halt, like it did, and your response is kind of Scar maybe. That's not the issue. The issue was you saying shit in the first place. Just shut up. That's the issue. You as a organization shutting the fuck up. That's it. Simple. Fix. Easy peasy. Here, I'll even do it. Easy peasy. Shut up. Shut up. Well, with that said, Link, Double Lift, I hope that some way, shape, or form you guys can become friends and work through this and really be able to let this shit go. For Link, I worry a little less about you, because who the fuck cares? Because you're done with League. It doesn't matter. You're just going to go off and be another person in society. So it doesn't matter. As far as this situation for you, for Double If, I worry because you need to get rid of this shit. Link can live with this in the sense of that he can carry for the rest of his life the fact that Double If never loved me. And he can fucking be emo about that. I'm not saying he is, but if he wants to be, he can live with that because he's going to go do other things. You, on the other hand, are still in league, and you need to buck up, let this shit go. You need to say fuck Link in your mind and just say, I'm done with him. You know, he can say he said whatever the fuck he wants. If he has another outburst, then you need to just let it go. Stop worrying about Link and what he said and move on with your career. Because I believe you have something to do. And that's justify everything that you've said about yourself. You need to stop being LeBron James and win a championship. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of hearing you talk now. I'm tired of your organization talking. I'm tired of you talking. Win. And with that, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Reddit and the people all over the world, I will say goodbye. And I hope that CLG will recover from this. And I hope that I was real enough for all you guys. I know I said some horrible shit. Guess what? That's how I roll. I don't give a fuck. There's no repercussions. No one owns me. And if my channel gets banned, who cares? I don't give a fuck. What I care about is some fucking justice when it comes to this. And that's some cookie cutter journalist who's going to come out and tell you the fucking the soft side, or as I like to call it, ice cream journalism. It's nice and sweet and soft, and we get a little dirty sometimes, but it's okay. No, if I'm gonna report on something like I'm doing right now, it's gonna be an hour fucking 41-minute video tearing people apart and then trying to put them back together, giving you the facts. This is what they said. Here's my opinion. And then the fact of the matter is that I'm in the middle. I'm not on Link's side and I'm not on Double Lift's side. I'm on neither side. I'm going to critique both of them. I'm not going to be one-sided. That's what I wanted to prove today. Was that it wasn't who was the worst at fault. The only thing that is at fault here is the organization itself as a whole. With that, I will say goodbye. Please rate the video. I would appreciate it if you give it a like. If you give it a dislike, that, you know, guess what? That's okay. Still the point of the video. You have your opinion. That's cool. I would like for you to subscribe, like, dislike, whatever the fuck you want to do. I do stream on occasion. I wouldn't come watch me if you are sensitive, because I will tear you apart. And I think that's kind of the fun of streaming, is being able to interact with your audience. Other than that, I bid you guys a good one. See ya.